Kick it for me one time.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls. Come to you every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. I am your host, Charles Stewart, and along with Dr. Reverend Anthony Williams. We come to you every morning to share with you what we have learned during the course of the week. It's been 168 hours since we've been on the air. And we know that you've been busy with your busy schedule. And we all are busy, but we come this morning, 11 to 12, 1 hour every Monday morning to talk about the dreams of the dreamers. And we talk about your dream, our dream. All of us have dreams. And the Bible tells us where there's no vision, the people perish. So we all have a vision, and the goal of Church Without Walls is to inform you and let you know that your dream can be a reality only if we work together. We'd like to thank those that tune in every Monday morning. A couple of friends that I know that tune in every Monday morning. Sister Wildna Watson, many of y'all know about there. She somewhat under the weather. Last time I talked with her, she was in the hospital, but we praying that God will give her full health back, and we hope that she is back home listening. I didn't get to talk with her yesterday. And we want to say to all those that may be sick and shedding, wherever you may be, Dr. William and myself are praying for those. And a couple of people I asked for prayer. And something that prayer is always in order. Before we start our topic today, I'd like Dr. Williams to do give us a little prayer, a short prayer for those that are sick and shedding, that asking for prayer. Dr. Williams.
All most holy and everlasting Father, we beseech you at this time before you in your holy throne of angels. Lord, we ask for your grace and your mercy for those who may be on their bed of affliction, for those who may be not able to call upon your holy name. We ask that you would take a beckoning eye and look upon them, take a heart full of mercy and endure and endow them. Give them the courage and the power that they need to go through whatever their downfalls may be. We ask that you would help them, that you would lift them up, those that have a bowed down head, those whose eyes are growing dim, those whose heart will not keep a steady rhythm. We ask that you would consecrate and touch them with your holy love, with your finger of power, that they may receive whatever their desires is at this time. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Yeah, thank Dr. Williams for that prayer. And the reason why I asked him to pray, Dr. Williams, about 3 weeks ago, was visiting sick at Eichner Hospital over on Jefferson Highway. And a good friend of mine is Brother Carter. His father was in the hospital at the time, and they pretty much, the doctor, the family, everybody had gave up. And seemed to me they were planning a funeral, but God had the last say. So the reason why I bring this up because the young man called me last week and he said, man, my father home now. He said, I want Reverend William to know I thank him. He stopped by and prayed for my father. And he said, I don't even know if my father heard the prayer or not, but it seemed like God heard the prayer. And he home and he helped, and now we thank God for that family, for the Carter family, that he's alive and aware, and hope they listen this month. You listen, God bless you in a very special way. But he said he won't never forget that Reverend Williams stopped in and came into the hospital room and prayed for his father when they didn't see no hope. They were just doctor told them just a matter when they want to pull the plug, but God said no. So we just thought that we'd bring in that's why I asked Dr. William to pray for everybody sick and shed in. God, we always hear in our church how God is still on the throne. He got the power. Now, brothers and sisters, this morning, we back again. Reverend William, you like to have an open statement, or you want to get into the topic, or what?
Let's just get into the topic this morning. Ain't too much to say about it. Let's talk about what we're talking about.
Okay, our topic today is what you don't know, but what you should know. Hear me out there. It's what you don't know, but what you should know. Now, I believe that we don't know the real dream of Dr. King and many others our leaders. We don't understand their dream. I know Dr. William have his own take on it, but the dream that Dr. King we talked about last week, I think that when he said that the little black girl and the little black boy would hold hands together, and that's just a part of his statement. But if you follow Dr. King, if you follow all his speeches, some of them that you need to hear, he mainly was talking about. He wasn't talking about a social agenda that he had. What he meant was when you go into a restaurant, he wasn't talking about you just going into the, fighting to go in the restaurant to sit down. He wanted you to own that restaurant where you can be proud of the restaurant. He didn't want you just to fight like we fight to go sit down at the lunch counter. Like Malcolm X, many other people, like Shirley Chisholm, we can go on and on, name some of our great leaders in the past. But that was, we said, Dr. King's dream, Malcolm X, we go Shirley Chisholm, Fannie Lou Hamer, all them people did something great, but it wasn't a dream just to be satisfied. Like when you look at Canal Street, they at City Hall on Parker Street when Reverend A.B. Alexander got thrown out of City Hall because he wanted to drink at the water fountain. That dream, Reverend Alexander's dream was just for you. They go there and drink water out of the fountain. He had dream was for somebody, his dream actually came true, and we don't realize, but he was fighting for a black man to be mayor of the city of New Orleans, and that happened. Dutch Mariel, on the sacrifice that he made, got to be mayor. So, my brothers and sisters, what I'm saying this morning is, the dream, many of the dreams haven't been fulfilled because it's not just about us coming from the back of the bus. At Rosa Parks fought so hard for. They wanted you not to come from the back of the bus. They want you to own the bus.
Well, that happens to a lot of people right now who don't realize that we have the ability, we have the all with all, we have the knowledge to earn things and to be an entrepreneur of different things. And one of the things in Martin Luther King's dream, Dr. Charles, was that economic, as far as blacks are concerned, he was speaking about economic, and not just blacks, but some poor whites, or some whites who didn't have the opportunity to become what they are. And I know that we look at basically what have transpired with blacks and how Dr. Martin Luther King's dream actually helped us and should have helped us to prosper and to become better than we are. But his whole dream was the economical system, pertaining to the economical system that affects the people of the nation. And that's where the change have to come in at. We have to start looking at it not just as one race in power, or the power of one race over another power. We have to start looking at it as a people coming together. You talk about little black boys and little black girls holding hands. And if you look in our society right now, you see that happening.
Every day.
Little black boys and little girls, little white girls, they're holding hands. They don't, some of them don't have that racial intent among them. They don't care what people say. They just found somebody that they feel like they could be equal with, and they're trying to make that happen. So we have to look at the economical base of Martin Luther King's dream and how he was trying to get people to prosper. I was looking on the internet the other day about the 10 wealthiest black Americans within in America. And
Okay.
I saw Oprah Winfrey, who is a billionaire.
Right.
I saw Bill Crosby.
Right.
I saw Tiger Woods. I saw Magic Johnson.
Michael Jordan.
And I didn't know that he owned a share in the Lakers. I didn't know that he sold that. I didn't know that he owned the share in Starbucks that we all go to every day. And I saw that. And he sold that for $3 million, I think it was. And so
he also owned, I think he's the majority owner with the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers. If he hadn't sold it, he was the majority owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He never dropped that.
Yes, Michael Jordan was a part owner of the NBA.
Yeah, Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that black have done, but setting up an economical system, they have the money. The money is there in our community. You have certain black communities, and I didn't get a chance to find out all that information, but you have certain black communities that are wealthy community where you have blacks staying in that community, and they have salaries that range from $158,000 to, and up. And we have people that have the money, but we are not, as a people, setting up an economical condition where we can have what everybody else have.
Right.
We have to start focusing on how we can take our money. And one of the speeches that Martin Luther King, when he went down to, and he was talking to the people, and he told them, he says, we have to learn how to take our money and use it to our advantage.
Right.
We have to, if they don't want to give us anything, then take that money out of that bank and put it in a bank that's going to help you. And I'll give you a classic example. And I'll call out the name. I was with a bank, and I went to that bank, and I had about $8,000 in the bank, and I wanted to borrow some money to buy a car. But that bank would not give it to me. They told me they couldn't give me that loan, even though I had that amount of money in it, and I only wanted $4,000 to buy a car. They wouldn't let me have it. So I went to another bank, and I didn't have any money in that bank. And I was asking him, I said, could y'all make me a loan? I want to buy a car. And he said, well, what kind of car it was? And I told him what it was. And so he told me, he said, well, fill out the application. He called me the next day and told me the loan was approved.
Okay.
So I went, took all my money out of that bank and put it in that bank because this bank was helping me.
Right.
And if I got $8,000 and you can't lend me $4,000, you sitting with my money in there making interest off it. You see what I'm saying? So Martin Luther King talked about these kind of things. He talked about setting up banks and through the different organizations that he was working with. And so that's what we have to learn how to do. That's the dream that Martin Luther King talked about. He was a drum major for justice. And we have to work on those things pertaining to the dream. Not so much that we're trying to get a date for his birthday. He was not concerned with that. He was concerned with the people prospering, the people developing, community developing within our area. And that's what, when we start thinking along those lines, you're going to find that we as a people are going to start to become a better people when we become a one people. The oneness was that we are both thinking the same, we are operating the same, we're walking the same. The Bible tells you, how can two walk together unless they agree?
Yeah.
And there's always been a separation between our people. Seems like one is always pulling the other one down. Not necessarily the case. But it appears that way, and they put that in our view so we can see that and we can dwell on that. Stop dwelling on the negative and accentuate the negative with a positive. An old man told me one time, he said, put a negative sign on it. And I draw the negative sign. He said, now take another and take your pencil, hold it there and come down. What you have? I said, positive. He said, accentuate the negative with a positive.
Right.
Don't let people put you in a negative opinion, give you a negative thing. Think about what can I do? When somebody gives you something negative, ask yourself a question. What can I do to make that positive where it'll work for me instead of working against me?
Okay. 504-341-8255. You like to get in on the conversation, give us a call, and we'll be happy to hear from you, because we believe and we share in our interpretation of the dream that Dr. King, last week, it was a great celebration for them. One thing that stood out, Dr. William, Mississippi, it had a bunch of young people. They marched from Mississippi all the way to Memphis, Tennessee. Over 50 miles they walked. Mm-hmm. There for Dr. King birthday celebration, not birthday, the celebration, the day that he was fatally killed there in Memphis. And you got people right here in this city, they would have to walk like a half a block to go to such a program. They wouldn't even go here. And the impressive thing about it, these were young people that was walking. It wasn't, it had to be pretty young, to be able to walk 50 miles, but most of these kids seem to be maybe in their early 20 or early 30 years old that were walking, and they realize and respect that this Dr. King gave his life for them to have more opportunity. And they weren't talking about going into restaurant. I think Dr. Williams, that we hurt ourselves and we limit ourselves when we always complain about we don't have this, we discriminate against. I think that really it hurt, and primarily the African American community. I know it hurt us because we're the only race of people keep on fighting discrimination. I don't see no other nationality doing that. So we need to start thinking, hell, the wall is there. Let's tear it down. They tore down the Russian wall, like I say. And I think that we need to understand Dr. King. The thing that you love about Dr. King, he always used the word all. We all are created. He never said just black community, man. He said everybody.
Mm-hmm. He said all.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to take a time out for a little break right now. We got to pay some bills. But please call us back and try and talk with us. 341-8255.
504-341-8255.
I don't want nobody give me nothing. Open up the door. I'll get it myself. I don't want nobody give me nothing.
Well, what's up, everybody? This is boy Coach Hurricane here. You can follow me on Facebook at Henry Singleton or on Twitter at HenryHayoU15.
Listen, this is your boy Fred. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook at Brandon Fred Jones, or you can follow me on Twitter at BFredJones. This is Jeremiah Gray, man, with G Sports. You can follow me on Facebook, Jeremiah Gray, AKG, and on Twitter, G_paid in full 08. Pay me the money. money.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Play that.
Okay.
All right. We are back. You are listening to Church Without Walls. 504-341-8255. 504-341-8255. You can get in on this conversation this morning. Our topic is what you don't know, but it's what you should know. And we just want our listeners to know that it's a lot that we need to understand what the dream really meant. It didn't mean for us to be able, like I said earlier, that we go out on Canal Street, and we go out on Canal Street and we dance and second line, but Dr. King wanted us to own some stores on Canal Street, not dance on the street, but have a place where you can come dance in. But anyway, my brothers and sisters, that Reverend William got a little clip that he want our listeners to hear.
That I have done in the United States before varied audiences, including some hostile whites. The only time that I have ever been booed was one night in our regular weekly mass meeting by some angry young men of our movement. I went home that night with an ugly feeling. Selfishly, I thought of my sufferings and sacrifices over the last 12 years. Why would they boo one so close to them? But as I lay awake thinking, I finally came to myself. And I could not for the life of me have less than patience and understanding for those young men. For 12 years, I and others like me had held out radiant promises of progress. I had preached to them about my dream. I had lectured to them about the not too distant day when they would have freedom all here now. I had urged them to have faith in America and in white society. Their hopes had soared. They were now booing me because they felt that we were unable to deliver on our promises. They were booing because we had urged them to have faith in people who had too often proved to be unfaithful. They were now hostile because they were watching the dream that they had so readily accepted turn into a frustrating nightmare. This situation is all the more ominous in view of the rising expectations of men the world over. The deep rumblings that we hear today, the rumbling of discontent, is the thunder of disinherited masses rising from dungeons of oppression to the bright hills of freedom. All over the world, like a fever, freedom is spreading in the widest liberation movement in history. The great masses of people are determined to end the exploitation of their races and lands. And in one majestic chorus, they are singing in the words of our freedom song, "Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around."
Now, my brother and sister, you hear that message, and it come from, as Dr. Williams said earlier, it come from us not believing in ourselves. When it doesn't happen right away, we kind of turn on each other. But that's not the way to do. Dr. King, I think his worst enemies in his movement was pastors. And they put them in men of God that didn't really have the faith that he had, that all people should be created equal. They didn't have that kind of faith.
And when you stop and think about Martin Luther King's dream, he not only talked to individuals, but he talked to those of the clergy. And even with our clergy right now, we don't have the education in our church going on as it should be. And Martin Luther King spoke about education. This was his dream. Educating people to be able to take care of themselves. The church has a great opportunity. They can set up training program within the church so that the people in the congregation can understand how to take care of themselves, how to survive out here. And once you get a church to work in the perspective of being, my people are well educated, my people are well trained, they know what's right, they know what's wrong, and how to hold on and have hope, those people are going to gravitate other people to your church. Your church is going to grow. But if you're a type of pastor that all you want is to be in control and be a dictator, then your church it'll become stagnated. It'll stay where it is. It won't grow. So in order for our community to develop, then we have to be a proponent of teachers. We have to activate the things that are within the people so that they have a gift within them. And we have to try and show them and give them sermons or excerpts that they will be able to find what's in them, find what that gift is. If you don't find what your gift is, you will perish. And that's what the Bible means when it says that my people perish because of a lack of knowledge, a lack of wisdom, a lack of understanding. Misunderstanding causes confusion in our life, and it'll cause confusion in the congregation, it'll cause confusion with everybody else. When we obtain understanding, we know what's right, we know what's wrong. Then we can reason one with another. That was Martin Luther King's dream. That's what he wanted us to have. And we're not working on that. We've lost focus upon that. When he was here, we did, just like when Christ was here. The disciples felt like they didn't have to worry about nothing because Christ was going to take care of them. They're not here anymore. They've dropped some stuff within us for us to have. And we have to pick up that torch and start running with it. And until we do, things are going to stay the same. There's going to be no change.
Right.
And like Charles always say, it's a time for a change. We've got to change. Our mindset have to change. Our character have to change. Our behavior have to change. Our mannerism have to change. When we change those things, we'll become better individuals.
Right. And as Dr. Williams was saying, our culture have to change because, I mean, I know our listeners got to be done hear this over and over and over, that if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you get the same result, that means you ain't saying so. Our community, and I have to be blunt by saying this, because we need to stop using that certain word aggravate us. Like I said, I don't care what nobody call me. It seems like in African American community seem like that it's just we bogged down with words. People like say, I see our young kids today, and everybody have I think they call that a hook in their words, and they swag. They meet each other, hey man, hey dog. Man, you don't see no other race of people call each other dog, man, you know what, and all this. We people.
Take the word dog.
Yeah.
And spell it backwards. What you got? You calling them your God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so much that God done bless you like Reverend William. I always said gold is gold, don't care where it come from. If you get gold out of the ghetto, you get gold out of the rich neighborhood or the poor neighborhood, don't care where it come from, it's gold. Whatever gold at, it's going to be gold. Now, you can't separate and say, like I said, different people come out of different communities. I don't care what community come out, your most celebrated athlete that you have right now, it came out of the project. Most of all your great basketball players, your superstar, came out of the ghetto. God gave them God-given ability. We have a call on line 1. Go ahead on, caller.
Hey, Mr. Charles, Brother Charles, Deacon Charles, and Pastor Williams. Good morning to y'all. How y'all doing today on this beautiful Monday?
Good morning.
Y'all having a great conversation. I'm glad I got in on a conversation right when y'all was talking about the athletes in our community and somewhat the entertainers of our community, and that includes the church, because in a black neighborhood, if you ain't got entertainment in the church, you ain't got church. So you may have a house of prayer or something like that. So my thing is, with Dr. King, was his dream wrong? I think he had the right vision, for the people. But the people lost vision, and but all Dr. King did was take a page out of the people who established this country playbook, and he played by the rules. See, as African Americans these days, we want to make our own rules and not play by the rules that's within the. It ain't nothing but a big old game. At the end of the day, if I could use a better term, I would, but it's a big game, and if you want to play by your own rules in the game, you're going to continue to keep losing. Right. And in my neighborhood, in most neighborhoods across America, the majority of African Americans want to change the rules. They don't want to play by the rules that's put before them. So that's where we have this fundamental problem coming at.
Well, I agree with you.
Sometimes you have to make the rules fit your character and your personality. And you take Michael Jordan, for instance. Michael Jordan, at one point, the court said he was incapable of playing ball, but he wound up being one of the greatest NBA players
of all time.
He got over six NBA rings.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to make a change. When you make a change, you make whatever they're doing fit your disposition. And when whatever they're doing fit your disposition, they don't have no other choice but to work along with you, because they see that you have that knowledge, you have that wisdom, and you have that understanding, and you're going to use that to your advantage to get what you want.
Exactly. And in order, if you want the rules to be changed, you got to know how to play by the rules. And then once you establish yourself as a public figure, then you have a better opportunity of changing rules. I tell people all the time, if you don't like what's happening, go and vote for somebody who you feel as though is the best candidate for your agenda.
Right.
And you go from there. You just can't go and vote and say, I voted for you. No, you have to be active in the political process. You have to be active in your community. And let me just say this, and I let you guys go. A lot of white people benefit from government aid. They do. But African Americans benefit from government aid as well, just as much as white folks do. Right. So when you have ghettos and projects and stuff like that, I remember when they was tearing down the projects in the city of New Orleans, people were outraged. They were protesting. They were, they was rebelling against that idea. I thought it was an excellent idea. Were the people who were living in those projects able to come back? No, not all of them. But some of those people in those projects were lifers. The projects wasn't set up. They were set up for people to live in my opinion. The project was a stepping stone for African Americans. African Americans made it a home.
Right, you're right.
And I know there was a lot of strategic things put in place so that African Americans couldn't make it out the projects, but that is no excuse for making the projects your home. If you strive to get out of that environment, eventually you will get out of that environment.
Well, there's a caveat to that. And the caveat to that is that what you look at sometimes is that how individuals have been put in a position to stay in a village-like situation and not venture out to find something of your own. So the average person that stayed in a project became accustomed to living in that environment, and they were satisfied just getting a little piece of the pie instead of getting all of the pie.
Right.
You want to work toward, if I want to go to the store and get me a pie, and sit down and eat as much of it as I want. But don't put me in a position where I can only go and buy a slice or something like that. The projects wasn't designed for people to stay in permanently. It was designed to give them a step up, as you said earlier. And when they start using that step up, they'll grow.
Hey, caller, let me say this real quick while you're on the line. One of the biggest problems that I have, I'm speaking personally from me, and I think it's a disgrace when you see a senior citizen, somebody don't work all their life. Sometimes some of the old people work 2 jobs, and they 75 and 80 years old. They go apply for food stamp and they want to give them $15. Most times they turn them down $30 or more. And here they got a young lady, 20 years old, 25 years old, that they can give them $600 for food stamp. That's not fair. The system is set up to keep you in bondage. And I know you probably know some situations like that. The way food stamps work, I'm a recipient.
Me and my girlfriend, we receive food stamps, and it goes off of your income, and it goes off the people in your home. So if a senior citizen is living on a fixed income and they living alone, then the guideline states that they only get $150, $153. Now we need to put somebody in position to change that. Right. For senior citizens, but it just can't be African Americans. If it's going to be changed, it's going to be changed for everybody.
Right,
across the board.
And that's what Dr. King's dream was. Right. We want this for everybody, not just a specific group of people. So you just can't change it because there's an African American living alone and they're getting a certain amount of money. You have to change it because everybody's living alone that's a senior citizen, and they're supposed to be getting a lot of money. But the way the food, I think they ought to create another system for that, for senior, specifically for senior citizens and veterans who are struggling out here to get federal aid. And we just have to put the right people in position to do that.
All right, and call that you said, like, it's not only African American get food stamp now. I think the Caucasian, on average, probably we may rank get maybe a third of the food stamp. Rest of it go to others. So
we only make up 16% of the population, if I'm not mistaken. It's somewhere around that number. So of course our numbers are lower. We will have less African Americans on. But if you look at it on a consensus basis type thing, we are all put in the urban aspect. So you have urban communities, urban cities, urban areas where you have a lot of African Americans that are in one spot that do receive food stamps. And along with that, you had a lot of crime. You have a lot of poverty in those areas. But the fundamental thing is, if African Americans only make up 16% of the population, but we spend the most money out of every race in the country, we have to adjust that ourselves. We can't expect for the federal government to do that. We have to make that adjustment ourselves. And that's something Dr. King died trying to talk about, and Malcolm X died trying to talk about. The way we should be spending our money needs to change. And the minute they started talking about the economics of being an American, that's when they were killed. So You know, we never got over that bar. We supposed to be equal, and in a lot of fashions, we are equal to most Americans or all Americans. We are equal in some realms, but when it comes to the money, the money, we aren't equal in our communities to other communities.
Okay.
So, but we spend the most money in our community. So there's money there. We just don't spend it the right way.
So who do we blame for that?
We blame ourselves because nobody can force you to spend money. Right. I know you have to pay your utilities wherever you live at. Every American has to pay utilities, but nobody forces you to go and spend your money in certain areas and in certain places. We choose to do that ourselves. Nobody can force you to go and buy what you're buying.
Right.
Because you want to stay in the status of what everybody else is doing, and that's what we have to learn. That you can't, just because somebody else is doing it don't mean I have to do it. That don't have to be my style. You know. Exactly.
We spend money on shoes, clothes. African American women spend more money than any other gender race in this country. African American women account for $1 trillion in money being spent. So that ought to tell you alone that, you know, our women spend more money than anything in our communities. Is what they spending the money on.
Right. And Carl, you hitting a home run today.
I'm gonna let you go on this right here. In our community, and it made me laugh. And I'm speaking specifically to African Americans, even though every race does this. But it hurts us more than anybody else. We will spend $10,000 on a wedding for one day and not put a single dime in retirement, nor we will put a single dime in college funds for our children. But we will spend $10,000 on one day.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you're taking that $10,000 and if you can actually take your time and counsel some people and tell them, look, why are you giving a $10,000 party? Basically, that's all it is. Suppose you took.
I think we have to take a break, Reverend William. I know Mike haven't said that number. We usually take a break. I know
okay, it's nice talking with you guys, fellas. I'm gonna hang up and finish.
Thank you for calling.
Okay. All right.
Hi, I'm Evangelist Melanie Pichon. Listen, I'd like to invite you to view our Forgiven Talk Show every Thursday from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time until 12 noon. We talk about issues. We talk about challenges. We talk about those things really that other folks don't want to talk about. Listen, if you want to talk about something, if you want to give us some suggested ideas, comment below and we'll do our best to get at you. Remember, every Thursday from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time until 12 noon, the Forgiven Talk Show.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
New Orleans Talk Network. It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
We are back. You are listening to Church Without Walls. 504-341-8255. Dr. Williams.
We want to look at, right now we want to look at the fact, was Martin Luther King's dream the wrong dream? Was it the right dream? We need you all to call in. Call in 504-341-8255. Call in and talk what you know. Let's hear your opinion. Everybody out there has an opinion, and your opinion counts.
Right.
Call in and give us an account. The number again is 504-341-8255.
And you know, Dr. William, yesterday, in our service yesterday at Bethesda, Pastor Jones had talked about Daniel, who was the dreamer, and Daniel then let go his value, what Daniel believed in. He still did the same thing regardless what happened to him. He kept his value, and many of us, our mother and father taught us to do the right thing. If we only keep on doing them things, for instance, like Daniel, I think where he prayed like 3 times a day regardless.
But it's not just your prayer, it's your action. We find that President Kennedy had a dream. His dream asked not what you can do for what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Right.
Martin Luther King had a dream that we would all become one. Malcolm X had a dream.
Right.
All of the individuals that have dream and that put that dream to action wind up being crucified, assassinated, or killed.
Right.
You know, all of those words meaning the same. But when we actually...
Now, we would need some Daniel, though, Rev Williams.
Well,
now, Daniel didn't
that's
get
action.
killed.
President Kennedy was a Daniel.
Right.
Martin Luther King was a Daniel.
Right.
Malcolm X was a Daniel. You know, these people put that dream to work. Malcolm X had a vengeance against some people until he went over to Mecca. And when he got over in Mecca, he found out that you had white Muslim, you know, Oriental Muslim, all of those people coming together as one, worshiping in one as one.
Right.
And until this country comes together and start worshiping as one, then we're going to always be a country that's divided. You got the same thing they had in the Old Testament, you got in the New Testament. You had the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the elders, and the priests. They were all of a different character, a different behavior, a different mannerism, a different teacher. You got the same thing existing with us right now.
Right.
You got black and white. You got wars in other places. We have to try and find a way to curb some of those things that's been happening with us to get it straight.
But I agree with you, Dr. William. And for us, as a community, as someone living in the community, and I know it would be the goal of... It is the goal of Church Without Walls, and I know it's the goal of the New Orleans Talk Network, that the dream that all our leaders had, where we will go back to all our great leaders, the Malcolm X, the Dr. King, that we would come together as a community. And Dr. William, I think as we on this air every Monday morning, we should resume responsibility of educating the community that the thing that we should do. Our topic was today, the thing that you don't know that you should know. We're gonna do our very best, and with support of church, support of New Orleans Talk Network, we're going to let the community know the thing that they should know. And we want them to call us and let's discuss this. This is what this is all about. I mean, as a family, we can grow together, as the caller said earlier, that all the money that African American women spend. And this is something that's something that need to be discussed. They probably may not be aware of. That's a lot of power. You spending millions of dollars every week. You know, like I think I said at an earlier show that in New Orleans, and this was a report that came out in the late 90s, that in New Orleans, African Americans spend $56 million a week in the city of New Orleans on Canal Street, all the different clothing stores, and they don't own any stores on Canal Street. To my knowledge, they might be renting a couple. And so it boiled down to, in our opening statement, that the dream of our leader is for us not to move from the back of the bus. They said move to the front of the bus. They want you to own the bus, the same way our
In other words,
restaurant.
stop allowing people to make you, or allow you to let them laugh at you.
Right.
And get them to laugh with you.
And if you're willing, we can change our culture. If we look at that, do you remember Reverend Williams, the movie Ray Charles? When Ray Charles had a little boy, he couldn't see good. His mama said she wouldn't allow him to be a cripple.
Right.
And he ended up being one of the greatest entertainers ever.
Because she impressed in him that don't let nobody make you a cripple.
Right.
So I want to end by saying today that don't let nobody make you a cripple, or continue to make you a cripple.
Right.
Hold on to the dream that Martin Luther King is saying. We're going to continue to talk about Martin Luther King's dream and try to dissect that whole speech that he gave pertaining to I have a dream.
And you're so right, and that Church Without Walls, that we move forward. We want to grow, but we want the community to grow with us. I mean, you know, we don't come here just on money just to be on the radio or being on YouTube, Facebook. We want our community to grow, and we deserve it. So and as Dr. Williams said, we don't want this community to be no cripple. All we ask for is a fair shake, and we got a fair shake. We are saying we just not taking advantage of it. We're not using it because we don't have no excuses. And we need to stop whining about what we ain't got, discrimination. I wish they would get rid of that word some kind of way, Dr. Williams, that we discriminate against. We discriminate against ourselves. And we need to come together and always, every week, we thank all of our viewers, all our listeners, and we want you to know we love everybody. And we hope that...
Let me say to you also that we get a lot of views where a lot of people are viewing the show. But we would love for you to call in and express your opinion. That's why we're here live. You've got an opportunity to express yourself and let other people know how you feel. You might have the right prescription for someone that's sitting out there and need to hear what your opinion is. And you've got the prescription. God is placing it within your intellects. So now, outlet what you inlet and make it become something that somebody else can use. So the number again, please call in. Y'all didn't call in today, but please call into our next show, which will be 504-341-8255. We'll be waiting to hear from you, and we just believe that you're going to start calling in. So we're looking forward to hearing from you.
And also, Doc, I'd like to add up, you got a topic that you would like us to talk about, that you're concerned. Call it in. I'll give you my. You can call me on my cell, and I'll make sure that Dr. Williams get the message. But you can call me on the cell 504-957-6392, and we'll make your thought you'll be the topic of the week. So give us a call. We love you.
Better still yet, if you've got something that you want to put out there, call us and let us know. Maybe we'll even set a time to get you to come on the show where you can express yourself.
We'll get you to be our special guest. So remember, this is your community station. We are Church Without Walls, and you know we always say, We all are the church. God love us all. Whether you're black, white, red, or green. We just say, open up the door. We'll get it ourselves, Rev Williams. We love y'all. Remember.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.